Okay, good evening and welcome to Iyun to lean on Hilchos Tefillah Siman Kufchav Gimel 123. There's a unique halacha here in Sif Hey of this Siman. The Shliach Tzibur is different than a regular person who's davening a personal Shemona Esrei. Davening a personal Shemona Esrei, the Shulchan Aruch details that you're supposed to take 3 steps back after you finish Shemona Esrei, and then you wait Kedei Hilach Dalet Amos 2 or 3 seconds, and then you take your steps back, 3 steps back to where you originally were. If you're davening for the Amud, the Shliach Tzibur, so at the end of your silent Shemona Esrei, you take 3 steps back, and you don't. You would take 3 steps forward if you're going to daven your Chazaras Hashas, and then when you finish your Chazaras Hashas, you take 3 steps back, and you, according to the Shla, you say Hilul Ratzon Refi, but you do not take 3 steps back to the original place, which a Yachid would do immediately. And the Mishnah Berurah details that he says that you take that after Uvalid Sion, you say the Kaddish Uvalid Sion, you also take 3 steps back, and then those 3 steps forward that you take back from taking 3 steps back is considered the conclusion of Chazaras Hashas. So why isn't it a hefsek? Mishnah Berurah asks, Ashrei Uvalid Sion, Avinu Malkeinu, Kriyas HaTorah, Halal, right? Rosh Chodesh, you say Halal, Kriyas HaTorah. Shouldn't it be a hefsek? So he answers, Ke Kaddish Chozer Al Tefillah, because the Kaddish al Achareim Chozer Al Ikar Tefillah Shel Shemona Esrei. The Kaddish after Uvalid Sion is really the conclusion of the Chazaras Hashas, and therefore they say the halacha is Mekan Dikta Achronim the Shliach Tzibur L'Daber. He shouldn't be talking after he finishes Shliach Tzibur Chazaras Hashas until he says the Kaddish after Uvalid Sion. Imagine this Kriyas HaTorah Hal that could take 30 minutes. He's not allowed to talk because he's still in the middle of Shemona Esrei. Now, most people think that Chazaras Hashas, the Shliach Tzibur, he's the Shliach of the Tzibur. It says in the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah that the point of the Shliach Tzibur, at least during the Yom Noraim, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, is to be motivated people who don't know the Tefillah. A lot of people don't know the Tefillah. They didn't have Sidurim back in the olden days. They didn't know the Tefillah so well. The Shliach Tzibur had a printed copy, or he was well versed in the Tefillah, so therefore he'd be motivating them, the Rabbim, Yidei Chavasan. So is that the idea that Shliach Tzibur is going to be motivating people? We don't really need that nowadays. Everyone's davening at Tefillah B'Lakash, and we know the Tefillah. We have Sidurim. So what really is the nature of Chazaras Hashas during the year? Maybe the Gemara Rosh Hashanah is only talking about Yom Noraim, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, when people are fluent in the Tefillah. What is the purpose? We always do Chazaras Hashas. What is the purpose? So I think it's evident from this halacha. The purpose of Chazaras Hashas, it doesn't really end your Shemona Esrei until the Kaddish, Ashrei and Uvalid Sion. He's sort of adding on. Shliach Tzibur is, yes, he's davening for the tzibur, but also when you're a personal Shemona Esrei, you're davening, you daven in Lashon Rabbim, a plural Lashon, to include everyone in Klal Yisrael together. So everyone's davening for the tzibur also. The Shliach Tzibur is elongating the tefillah. He's allowing Ashrei Uvalid Sion. I believe that, according to what the Mishnah Berurah is saying over here, that if you're davening privately in your house, there's no point in saying Ashrei Uvalid Sion, and Hallel also, if you're davening B'Yachid. The Gemara says really Hallel B'Yachid is really questionable to even say Hallel B'Yachid. Certainly in Kriyas HaTorah, you're not going to do B'Yachid. All these things don't apply if you're not B'Tzibur. So whole concept of Ashrei Uvalid Sion, if you're davening B'Yachid, technically you daven Shemona Esrei, and you go straight to Aleinu. This whole thing, Ashrei Uvalid Sion, Hallel, Avinu Malkeinu, all these things, Kriyas HaTorah, they're all part of the Chazaras Hashas. On account of the Chazaras Hashas, he's elongating the tefillah. The Chazaras Hashas is not just to say Shemona Esrei. It's a whole new Seder tefillah. He's introducing a Seder tefillah that is done by the masses, by the Rabbim, which includes Avinu Malkeinu, Hallel, all these things. We'll talk more about that going forward, what exactly the Chazaras Hashas is. The Chazaras Hashas is adding a new dimension to the tefillah. It's not just a Shemona Esrei. It's actually the second half of tefillah is all predicated upon the Shliach Tzibur, the Chazaras Hashas. How exactly is that part of Tefillah B'Rabbim? Why is it uniquely only done when there's a Tzibur? We'll talk more about that going forward. The concept of the Chazaras Hashas and the coming up Simonim. Hope you enjoyed tonight's shir. See you in the next one.